Hey everybody, this is Alan Brocken, author of the Towers of Light series, and I'm here with my good friend Johson, who has an amazing announcement for us. He's got a new book out. JJ?
Yeah, so book 2 in my Iggy Oz series is coming out. It releases October 27th, and that's Iggy Oz, The Soda Pop Wars. And it's the story... continues the Iggy and Oz brothers story, and it's the story of what happens if you find an old vintage soda pop machine that gives you superpowers with every sip of soda that you take.
A superpower with every sip of soda.
Yep.
So I gotta ask, I really liked Iggy and Oz and the Plastic Dinos of Doom. It was a great book. It read like the books I remember as a kid. And you had great characters in there, and it was quick to read and all that. But when I was a kid, when I was Iggy's age, I really liked Fanta Grape. Well, actually, I didn't like Fanta Grape because we couldn't afford Fanta Grape. We got the Aldi Grape. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like grape soda was the bomb because you never got it, but when you did, it was great. So what superpower would I get if I were to imbibe some grape soda in your universe?
Well, as a matter of fact, you would get Invisible Grape. And
Invisible Grape.
Invisible Grape. And speaking of Invisible Grape, I actually have a candle coming out.
A candle?
A candle. Get this. My wife owns a candle company called Wick and Sarcasm. So for all you dads out there who have a wife who likes candles, head over to Wick and Sarcasm on Instagram and check out the Iggy and Oz candles. We have Invisible grape scented candles with a little bit of fizz. You can feel the fizz, man.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what you get. You get Invisible Grape.
Invisible Grape. Well, I hear there's another flavor in there called Strawberry Wind. I have some questionableness to what exactly would Strawberry Wind be, and I'm not sure I want a candle about that, but tell me a little bit about Strawberry Wind.
Well, okay.
Or is it too much of a spoiler?
It's not too much of a spoiler. Let's just say, when you think of wind and dads and kids, and maybe you cut the wind in half or something like that.
I see.
Yeah. So
there's not like cheese flavored soda is what you're saying. So it was Strawberry Wind.
No.
Yeah. So, I remember your first book, and, the nemesis in this story, other than the dinos, was the evil Todd Stern.
Yes.
Does Todd make an appearance, and is there any change in their relationship after their adventure in the first book?
Well, you would think after Todd helped Iggy in the Plastic Dinos of Doom, even though he's the big bully on the street, that there would be this sudden change in their friendship. Absolutely not. There is no change in their friendship. It was, but Todd does make an appearance, and makes a very big appearance in this story. He's pretty much in it from almost the very beginning. He's in it a lot more.
So Todd Stearns is kind of the one that sticks with me because of the description from the previous one about, he's just disgusting. He's like the disgusting bully that we all experience as a kid. What character holds a special place in your heart? Like, of the ones that you've written, which one really hooks you the most and you resonate the most with?
Well, I think Iggy has a lot of me as a little kid in it. I was a small little skinny redheaded kid, and I wasn't the biggest, wasn't the fastest, and I got bullied a lot, but it wasn't that I got bullied because of being different. I got bullied mainly because I got bullied. Actually, I was more just a smart aleck little punk. So,
self-inflicted bullying is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted.
So Iggy's got this sarcastic nature to him, where he kind of sees himself as larger than life, and as a result, he kind of has a tendency to say things that he probably shouldn't say, and act. And then so I identify a lot with Iggy, and then Oz has a little bit of me because Oz is one of those kids that's just kind of oblivious to what's going on and just kind of opens his mouth and just says things, and then Iggy's over here to the side like, Oz, seriously, be quiet. And so there's a little bit of me and my younger brother growing up both in in these characters. So they hold Iggy's probably the one that's the most special though.
So do you ever ask your readers, or did you get ever feedback from Plastic Dinos of Doom that went into this? Did anybody write into you and say, "Hey, you should do this," and what did that look like?
Yeah, I would do some school visits, and one of the things, and I'd even get some emails from teachers, and the one question that every kid wanted to know was, is Iggy and this one other character named Jen, are they going to get together? And it's like, you know what?
Is it going to be some...
these are 9-10-year-old kids, and they're kind of like, is Jen and Iggy going to be boyfriend and girlfriend? And that's literally the biggest question on all the kids' mind that writes in. So, that was one thing is a lot of kids want to see Iggy and Jen get together. So, and then a lot of kids also want to see more of Aaron. Aaron is the sort of the smart kid in the story, and he's sort of that Sheldon Cooper in a way. He thinks he knows everything, but he really doesn't know as much as he acts. So, yeah.
So do you have a favorite quote or passage? Is there something that like you got done writing it and you're like, I love this. This is so cool.
There is a quote, and gosh, yeah. So
I got you on the spot. So
yeah, no. I have one, and it's Iggy is talking about how he crawled out of bed on a Saturday morning. And he says, the only reason I get out of bed on a Saturday morning is because I can no longer stand the taste of my own tongue. And
that's a good one.
And it's just the Iggy thing to say, So tongues do have taste. So that's one of my favorite quotes. So Iggy has a tendency to break the fourth wall quite a bit, and sometimes he starts talking directly to the reader. And so it's when he's talking directly to the reader, those are some of the instances that I like Iggy the most. It's just kind of like, I know what your mom and dad are thinking right now. They're thinking I'm a bad kid. They're probably right. You shouldn't follow my example. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you why I'm justified in doing what I'm doing. So, it's things like that, because Iggy makes some poor choices. And so, when Iggy makes those poor choices, it's kind of me talking to the mom and dad saying, okay, I know that you probably don't like where I'm going with this, but let me tell you, Iggy knows you don't like me. No, he knows you don't like it, so.
So, while you were working on this, was there anything where you really got some writer's block and you just couldn't move on? You were stuck. And then how did you get unstuck?
Yeah, there was a part in the story where I got to, and I can say this without, Iggy makes a very poor choice.
Uh-oh.
And he makes a choice that nobody else wants to go along with. And it's one of those things that you're thinking, why would a 12-year-old kid do this? And I started questioning whether or not I should go on with it, keep going in the direction that the story, I felt like the story was taking me. And I started second guessing myself, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take this poor choice out, because there's a point in the story where he goes to Todd Stern's house, and it's a very poor time and a poor choice. Okay. So I started questioning, okay, is this the right thing to do for Iggy? And then I sat there and I couldn't come. I was like, okay, I'm going to go in a different direction. And I couldn't come up with a different direction to go to, because the story just kept demanding to go in that direction. And I think the reason I had to go in that direction is because in order for Iggy to really learn the lessons in this story that he needs to learn, I had to let him go that way. And
Right.
so I had to back up and just say, you know what? Some parents might question my decision to make Iggy do this, but it's the right decision because it's the right lesson for Iggy to learn in this story. So I'm going to let Iggy take me this way. So, I think it was just one of those things where I had to trust Iggy, and I had to trust his voice. I had to trust what he was saying, and I just had to trust that he was going to take me in the right direction in the story. So.
Well, and I think that voice bit is kind of important. It plays into my next question. So what are you hoping kids, families are going to take away from Iggy and Oz, the Soda Pop Wars?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that because my entire goal of writing the Iggy and Oz stories is to create fun and wild family reading nights. That's what I want to do. I think stories should teach us a lesson, but I also think stories should just be entertaining from time to time.
Sure.
And so what I hope that kids or parents take away from this, and kids take away from this, is they can sit down and read the story as a family, and they can discuss some of the things that Iggy does and why Iggy is making some poor choices and what lessons that Iggy should be learning. So I have two things. My bookmark says family reading time just got wild. And, that's what I want people to understand is I want you to sit down and have a fun, wild family reading night. Read these stories out loud. These are the ways these stories are designed to be read. And just enjoy it as a family. But also, in the back of the book, I have a list of discussion questions. And each one of these discussion questions is usually about 3 questions for each chapter. And then there's some vocab words, to help your kids with their vocabulary. But basically, it's going over the things that Iggy's doing in the story that is a poor choice. And so I put this disclaimer at the very front. It's sort of a letter to parents, teachers, and grandparents. And I want parents to read that before, they read the story to their kids. And I'm hoping that they can have some good quality discussions. Because guess what? Kids that are 8, 9, 10, and 11, they're smarter than we think they are half the time.
That is true.
And they can discuss things, and they can teach us lessons themselves, and they have some pretty decent insight. And so sometimes I think we just tend to dumb things down for kids, and I don't think we need to necessarily do that all the time. I think that they can handle stories that are fun and exciting, but they can also discuss some things and recognize that, Iggy's making a bad choice right here. And that's the entire point of a story, is for the character to learn a lesson and to experience some sort of change. So I'm hoping parents can sit down with and teachers even, and grandparents can sit down with kids and read the story, but also learn some lessons. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So, JJ, any other things you want your readers to know about the story? What's going to hook them? What's going to just make them have to run out and get it right now?
Well, I mean, it's soda pop that gives you superpowers, but
that's right.
I think that there's a mystery element to these stories.
Okay.
There's a mystery element in book 1 and book 2, and that mystery element continues all the way through the end of the series. The series is going to be 12 books, is what's planned right now, and that mystery element all revolves around this eccentric elderly gentleman that's passed away in the neighborhood, and his name is Mr. Chesterton. And Mr. Chesterton has some quirky things in his house, some things that kind of cause some mischief and allow the kids to get into mischief. And these things were sold off into an estate sale, and a lot of the families in this neighborhood, they own these things now, and they don't realize that there's some things unique about these. So there's a chest that brings anything to life that you put into it, like a plastic dinosaurs. There's an old vintage soda pop machine that gives you superpowers. And then guess what? Book 3 that comes out next, it's called The Living Snot.
Ew.
Yeah. What if old Mr. Chesterton had a handkerchief that when you blew your nose on that handkerchief,
No.
Your snot became this living blob that just grew and grew and grew to cover the neighborhood. So that's book 3, is Living Snot. So you got to rush out and read the Soda Pop Wars so that you can get the Living Snot.
That's right. So where can people get Iggy and Oz, the Soda Pop Wars? Where do they need to go?
Well, you can get it on ebook, only on Kindle for the time being. It will be available on Kindle for $1.99, and it's also available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're a Kindle Unlimited customer, you can go out there and get it. Now, the paperback copies, you can get those online at Amazon and or Barnes & Noble, and they should also be available through Books A Million as well. So the paperbacks are going to be going for, I believe it's $7.99 is the paperbacks. These aren't very big books. They're about the size of a Goosebumps book, if you've or the I Survive books. They're about that size as well. So they'll be available in those 3 locations, and you can pick them up there. Just go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble and just search Iggy and Oz, and they should pop right up.
That's awesome. Well, JJ, it's been great hearing about Iggy and Oz, the Soda Pop Wars. Any last things for our viewers?
No, just, I hope you can read it, and hope you can check it out. Hope you enjoy it more than anything. And even if you don't enjoy it, do me a favor, go leave a review out on Goodreads or Amazon, or, I always want to hear people's feedback, and I have pretty thick skin, so I can take criticism pretty well. So even if you don't like the story, it doesn't bother me. So I want to hear honest feedback. So.
All right. Well, I will stay away from the strawberry wind, but being invisible could be fun. So
it could be.
All right, JJ. Thanks a lot for your time today, and we'll have to go out and get some Soda Pop Wars.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
See ya.